Hi, thank you for joining me for day 10 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. Can't quite believe we're at day 10 already. Today's sketch, you'll see in the top right hand corner there, has been designed by Lara Moss and it's beautiful. I really enjoy this sketch, and strips of paper again. It seems to be a common theme this month. So I'm going in again with my Boho Sunshine collection and once again scrapping those photos from our trip to Boston back in 2015. The photo that you can hopefully see underneath the sketch there is of a door on the side of the yarn store that we stopped at Sandwich, and I was just obsessed with this rusted bell wreath that they had on there, so I had to take a quick snap. So the Boho Sunshine papers, the colours work really perfectly with that. So you can see I'm just tearing strips off each of the semi-solids from this collection and cutting them into roughly 6-inch wide strips. So tearing a 12-inch strip and then cutting it in half if I've got the whole paper. I'm just going to rough up the edges of all of those and stick them down to the left-hand side of the page. So just checking the positioning of where each of the colours are going to go in this strip. I've got 2 of that rusty orange, so I want to make sure that they're not next to each other, one with crosses and one with dots. So just going down, and at this point I think I've more or less got enough strips. So just bringing my photo in to check, and then I'm going to glue all these down. I'm going to curl up the edges and use the water trick that I've used in a previous video just to get them curled up and keep them curled. So just using my paintbrush and my water to add that water there and curl it up, and then my Sticks 2 tape runner to get these stuck down onto my white cardstock. So while I'm doing this, please do check the description box down below to see everybody else joining in on this hop. It really is fun. There's a playlist that Christie has organised for us all to add our videos to. So every day more and more videos are being added. The last time I looked, there were already over 160 videos on there. So there will be a lot more as the days go on. And you can just press play and it will keep playing them. You can press shuffle or play them in the order that they've been uploaded, I think. It's a great way of just seeing some new talent, watching some new process videos and seeing how everybody does it, because we're all very different, and we all interpret the sketches different. So it's really great to see other people's interpretations. And that's one part that I love of this series, because we're all so different, as I say. So just getting that last strip stuck down there now, and I realise that there isn't quite enough. So I'm going to come in with another strip of this one. Trimming off that branding strip at the top. It was already torn at the edge, so just adding that bit there. And at this point I think that that will be enough, but of course I haven't yet matted my photo, so when I do mat the photo it's not enough. So I do have to extend this a little bit further down. So just adding in a yellow piece here, again just painting that edge to curl it up, and then I can start matting my photo. And I have been through my stash and pulled out some of my older pieces in there to try and use on this layout. I'm trying to make a concerted effort to mix in the old with the new. When a collection is nearly finished, I tend to just put the bits in my drawer and they sit there unless I think to go and have a look to see what I've got that can coordinate with what I'm using. So this is the first piece. It's an old Pink Fresh Studio envelope that came from one of the stationery packs that they do. So I'm just using that to map the photo. The colours work really nicely. It's grey stripes at the top and that tealy blue at the bottom. And then this is a very old Project Life card. And again, that rusty orange works really nicely with the colours in the door and in the papers that I'm using from Simple Stories Boho Sunshine. I brought in a strip of black card because I just wanted to make it pop a little bit. I felt like the photo was getting lost in amongst all those colours. And that just kind of grounds the photo really onto those strips. So I want to use this in 2 places, so I'm just cutting it in half so I can add half to the top and half to the bottom of the photo. And I decided to add them literally at the top and bottom, and that does extend the size of the photo quite considerably. And that's why I end up having to add another strip at the bottom of those strips on the main base page. So just working out exactly where to put that, and then I can add my tape and stick it down. And I am really enjoying using a tape runner again. I love my wet glue, and I do enjoy using double-sided tape because I know it's cheap and it works, but sometimes you just can't beat a tape runner. So bringing in that strip that I had left over from this sun paper that I put at the bottom, and just adding that as another layer on the side of the layout of the photo. And then I decide that I want to bring some black in as well, just to balance out that black I've got on the left hand side. So just using another scrap of that black cardstock that I've got there. You can see these are the ones that I tend to use to punch out the whole reinforcer punches. If you've watched my videos before, you will have seen me doing that numerous times, and I do it again today. So if you haven't seen it before, you'll see it today. So just very roughly roughing up the edges using my Tim Holtz edge distresser. I didn't want to do too much distressing, but just a tiny little bit, because I've got those torn edges of the strips, and it looked a bit odd to my eye to have very clean lines on these mats. So just going in with my nails as well to the bits I couldn't get too easily with that edge distresser. And it's at this point, when I start to add this label and things at the top, I realise that there's not quite enough on the layers, so I will come in and add another layer at the bottom. So that So Cozy piece is again from my drawer, along with these tickets. I think these are perforated. I think they were from a pattern paper that I just torn up and put in my drawer. But again, they just work really nicely. It's lovely bringing in these little bits and pieces that aren't just florals or labels. Like I so often use my labels, and I do love them, but it's just nice to find something a bit different. And here I am wiggling it around and realising that I need that bottom strip. I was about to trim it with the trimmer and then remembered that I've torn them all. So just tearing the edge off that and cutting it in half and adding that to the bottom. Once again with the water, just to curl up that edge. And I really like the look this gives, because you see the pink peeking through from the other side as well. And just for ease, look, I've grabbed my glue. Old habits die hard, don't they? So this arrow again, I think that was an Amy Tan arrow, came out of my drawer. That Flair badge says obsessed, because I was obsessed with the decor that these houses had on the outside. It's one of the Hey Little Magpie Flair badges. And these wood pieces were all from JD3D wood print. So just bringing in some Sticks 2 foam pads now to raise that photo up a little bit. The foam works really well when you've got a lot of texture underneath your photo, because of all those rolled edges on the papers underneath. The foam just makes sure that the photo is stuck down permanently and easily without any warping. So there we go, on an angle per the sketch. And then another little piece that came out of my ephemera drawer, that heart, it was just laying about. I think it was cut out of another bigger piece of paper. So just adding that to the top. And then gluing down these beautiful wood chevrons. I love these wood chevrons. I'd use them every day if I could. Try to restrict myself a little bit, because it would be ridiculous if every page had either the mini or the wood chevrons on. And you can see I'm focusing on arrows today. I decided that it would be nice to have arrows as the embellishments pointing at that door. So once those are all stuck down, I shall carry on with the other bits and pieces that I've pulled out. Just making sure it's all glued securely. Here's one of those hole reinforcers. So I should come in with my punch and add a few more of those. Just scattering them around that right hand side. And doing what I usually do, I just bend them in the middle slightly to create some dimension, and then just add the glue to where the creases are. I'm getting that Flair badge stuck down. Now these are some very old Amy Tan puffy stickers, and I'm just pulling out the arrows, a couple of houses and a heart. The arrows first of all, just to build on that arrow theme that I've got going there. Little camera to the left there. And as I say, some little puffy houses there. And that heart. Then going on to the 12 by 12 sticker sheet from the Boho Sunshine collection. And I just find a few bits and pieces to add here. And this butterfly just finishes it off nicely at the top there. I felt that that heart piece was just a little bit too stark against everything else. I love this camera and wanted to introduce this along with that tiny puffy one. So I'm just going to add some foam stickers underneath the bottom because it's raised up on the photo mat. So that just keeps it at the same level. I've also stuck that onto card and no I didn't, sorry. It was from the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, wasn't it? Those are sturdy enough to stand up on their own, so I didn't need to mat that with cardstock. This date capture piece is from one of the Ellie Studio monthly label stickers that she brings out. It's from years ago. But again, that just worked really nicely, and use my roller date stamp to add the date there. Before I stick that down. And that just bridges that gap nicely between the embellishments and the photo. Now coming in with some journaling, and I could have added it to the rose on that arrow, but I really felt that it needed to be above that just to draw the eye up the page a little bit. So I've just written, I was obsessed with this beautiful wreath on one of the doors at the yarn shop in Sandwich. And that was it. A couple more hole reinforcers. I felt it just needed one or two more here. I think it's just one actually that I had up there. And then I'm going to come in with some splatters of black soot. So just in those three little clusters, top, bottom right and bottom left. So now that's done, I'm just going back through the sticker book again. I wanted to cover up those lines that were on that arrow, so I found this little sticker that says love and a red heart to add to the left hand side of that, and that's the layout done. Thank you so much, Lara, for the inspiration. I really enjoyed this sketch. Thoroughly enjoyed creating this layout. Love the colours, even though it's an autumnal photo. The colours work really nicely. See you again tomorrow. Bye.